The Belfy Suite is in the attic. And everyone knows the attic, with the exception of the basement, is the most creepy part of an old building. It's historically recognised that Guy Fawkes was born in the cottage in the courtyard of the Guy Fawkes Inn. Yo, shorty, it's your birthday? No, height. My next topic that I want to talk about is height. My eyes roll for me sometimes when I really don't want them to, especially when I'm listening to people talk sometimes. Foisty musty. My foisty musty ex-husband. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. Maybe the night will let out more secrets, more ghosts, more experiences. If you're historical, I'm definitely not historical, although I'm getting old enough to be historical, or it feels like I'm historical. Anyway, I digress again. They're no different to humans. They're not performing seals, you know, they're not here to move the table because you tell them to, you know. These are human beings who are passed over, or not passed over as the case may be. Sometimes I will see a spirit when I'm in the supermarket, and what am I going to do? Go ghost hunting at Sainsbury's? I mean, it could be a fun idea, but... Hello everybody, it's Brocarde here. Happy New Year! I'm a little bit late to the New Year party because we're well into February now. Although my dress suggests that I'm a Victorian child about to eat Christmas dinner. But I'm not. I've had enough of Christmas and I'm back in York on another ghost hunt. I'm in another haunted pub and I'm going to go alone overnight in apparently the most haunted room in the whole building, which is right behind me. It's called the Belfy Suite, although it's called Robert Casby. For those of you who don't know, Robert Casby was the man who orchestrated the gunpowder plot, but he is not the most famous man who orchestrated a gunpowder plot, because that was Guy Fawkes, because he got caught. Come with me inside the Belfy Suite. We are in the Guy Fawkes Inn, and as you climb the very steep, rickety, creaky staircase, there are references to the Houses of Parliament, which of course Guy Fawkes tried to blow up unsuccessfully and was captured, which is why most of you will know his name. And this pub is named after Guy Fawkes, or Guido Fawkes. Why? Because he was born in this very building. There are also all kinds of creepy references as you come up the staircase. There is a hand and a young girl. It is believed that this suite is not only haunted by the ghost of Guy Fawkes, but of the ghosts of small children, because something very tragic happened in the very suite that I'm going to be spending the night in. As you clamber to the very top of the building, the Belfy Suite is in the attic. And everyone knows the attic, with the exception of the basement, is the most creepy part of an old building. And we're right in the eaves, right in the roof, right in the belfry. And when you get to the top of the stairs, they have very thoughtfully placed a chaise longue here. So if you want to recline and catch your breath, then you are more than welcome to do so. Make yourself at home. Throw your feet in the air and soak in the beautiful architecture and atmosphere. It's almost like being transported a little bit back in time. So, a couple of seconds ago, I told you about the young children that haunt this suite. In fact, over the years, there have been many kinds of apparitions, from religious figures, small children, and, as I said earlier, Mr. Guy Fawkes himself. Just outside that very window is the birthplace of Guy Fawkes, or Guido Fawkes. It's historically recognised that Guy Fawkes was born in the cottage in the courtyard of the Guy Fawkes Inn. Now, I wasn't there. I can't verify whether that is fact, but there is a blue plaque outside the building to prove that that is an historical fact. And they don't just dish out blue plaques willy-nilly. So, for the purpose of this video, we are going to assume that Guy Fawkes was born in the courtyard of the Guy Fawkes Inn. The more misty, murky question is he still here? Is his spirit still here? Has he returned here in some form, in one form or another? For those of you who went to school and played attention in history, you will know that Guy Fawkes was captured when he was trying to blow up the Houses of Parliament. He was caught putting gunpowder under the Houses of Parliament on the 5th of November, and that is why we celebrate Guy Fawkes Night. Remember, the 5th of November. And that leads me rather nicely to the carpet. Now, this is perhaps a happy accident, a mistake, but as soon as I looked at this carpet, it reminds me very much of a bonfire or fireworks. It is flame and ash coloured. Interesting fact. Maybe that is someone's fine attention to detail, or maybe it's just the carpet that they happily picked regardless. But yeah, it actually looks like a flaming bonfire. So the Guy Fawkes theme continues. Yo shorty, it's your birthday? No, height. My next topic that I want to talk about is height. The Belfy Suite. I'm gonna come straight out there and say it. If you're a basketball player, you are not going to like it here. I'm 5'8", and my head touches the ceiling in certain parts, and I'm a complete klutz, so I've already whacked my head on some of these beautiful beams. Yes, they're very pretty, but my head is spinning. So if you're a basketball player, in fact, if you're anything over 5 foot, you might struggle with this room. But if you're prepared to overlook that one small practical detail, you will love it here. And I'm going to show you the bedroom, if I can get there without slamming my head on the roof. Follow me to the boudoir, and hopefully I can make it down this corridor without slamming my head off the beam or polishing the ceiling with my fringe. And this is the bedroom. There's quite a weird shift of energy when you come into the bedroom, which I'm not 100% thrilled about, considering the fact that I have to sleep here. It was all fun and games until I got to the end of this corridor, And when I turned around, I saw the shadow out the corner of my eye, very quickly, very slight, just a darting shadow. Couldn't make out any more than that. But I feel like it's very, very cold in the bedroom. There are more references to Parliament on the wall. There is quite a gothic looking bed, which I'm here for, and the bonfire car park, the bonfire carpet continues. But yeah, as you can probably tell, my energy has changed a little bit in here as well. So we will park the bedroom exploration for now, and I'll show you the rest of the Belfry Suite. I mean, I feel at this point it's probably quite important to point out how quickly my energy has shifted. And I'm quite a theatrical talker. I'm quite a theatrical person because I've been brought up doing musical theatre, and I have epic hand gestures. Everything's going on. I have one of those faces where you can't hide my expression. My eyes talk for me, and my eyes roll for me sometimes when I really don't want them to, especially when I'm listening to people talk sometimes. So I really have to rein it in. And I feel like my energy was so vibed up at the start of this video when I came into this room. And I feel like ever since walking down the corridor to the bedroom, my whole energy and my whole being has shifted. And a lot of people ask me in life, what is it like to see spirits? What is it like to connect with ghosts? What is it like to have that kind of gift? Some people might call it a gift, some people might call it a burden. And I always say that you can't necessarily control it. Like, there are 5 senses that I sense when I'm picking up spiritual activity. The most obvious, and what everyone wants to see when they come ghost hunting, is the apparition of a spirit. So a person that has a human form in a kind of veil, like in a sort of semi-translucent state, and sometimes these apparitions can be very, very real, and the shadow can be very dense and it can feel very human-like. And sometimes I will have really, really strong emotions about places, like it's happened when I've gone into prisons and I can feel someone crying, or I can feel someone trying to take over my body, or I can feel someone sort of entering my psyche, entering my mood system and affecting my emotions. And sometimes it's more subtle, like sometimes I can see a shadow and my energy will just shift. Now, there's a lot of this pub that is about shadows. The Guy Fawkes shadow figure, the mask, the Guy Fawkes mask that you will see popping up throughout this video. And to many people, many people's ghost sightings are a shadow figure, because when it's fleeting, it's hard to say if you've even seen a ghost or if you've even seen a spirit, because that's why there's so much uncertainty surrounding paranormal activity, because sometimes it will be so fleeting and it will be so brief that it's hard to explain what that even is or what that even was. And to say that was definitely a ghost is hard for a lot of people. And of course, no one really 125% knows, but I know what I see, I know what I've experienced in my life, and I'm fairly certain that there is ghosts, spirits, life after death, multiple lives. And I've always had the feeling that I've lived a million lives. I've always had the feeling that I've been here before in different capacities. And the whole topic is fascinating. And getting back to the 5 senses, sometimes I will smell something. Like I will smell out of nowhere a waft of cigar. No one's smoking. Sometimes no one's smoking. There's no cigar. This happened to me on the Queen Mary. The waft of a cigar and the apparition of a man. And sometimes you get a waft of perfume, a scent, sometimes a musty scent. Like Eduardo had quite a musty, foisty sometimes, which doesn't sound very attractive considering I married the guy, but foisty musty. My foisty musty ex-husband. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. I was trying to make reference to the point that my energy has changed a little bit. I've seen a shift in my being since being in the front room, or the bedroom, the room that is very cold, the room that overlooks the Minster, which is weird because the room I'm in now actually overlooks the Guy Fawkes Birthplace. So I'm guessing that it wasn't Guy Fawkes, but who knows, maybe the night will let out more secrets, more ghosts, more experiences. As you can see, I'm clutching my spirit rods, which, you know what, sometimes I sense and see so much spirit-wise, sometimes I don't even want to play with these. Sometimes people go, oh, do you do Ouija board? Nope, I do not do Ouija board. Firstly, if you're historical, I'm definitely not historical, although I'm getting old enough to be bloody historical, or it feels like I'm historical. Anyway, I digress again. The Ouija board was originally a Victorian toy until someone had the bright idea that they could contact the dead with it. Now, whenever I've experienced paranormal activity, it has been uninvited. I do not like to call on spirits, but I feel like there's something here and something in this attic, so why not? Hey, why not play with the spirit rods and see? So for the purpose of this video, what means yes? Okay, so close together means yes, apart means no. Is the Belfy Suite haunted? It's a yes, but it's a hesitant yes. Is there a spirit present with me? Is there a ghost in this room with me at this moment? Again, like right now, sitting here, I don't see an apparition. Like, this to me feels like quite a... Normally with spirit rods, they're quite definite and quite distinctive. But I'm not picking up that there is a ghost right here, right now, with me. Is Guy Fawkes still here? I mean, for me, I'm not sensing it right now. Right here, right now. I'm not feeling that. This is what I always struggle with. Like, I love sharing haunted history and I absolutely adore coming to haunted locations. And for me, it's very hard to translate to a viewer what I see. And on this occasion, it's not been very much so far. But hey, I've been here a few hours and it's not even midnight yet. So who knows what the rest of the evening is going to have to hold. But you know, when you watch these ghost hunting shows and they have these kind of cat balls and REM pods all going off. I just don't trust the legitimacy of those gadgets, and I wouldn't want to come on here with my reputation and go, oh, there's a ghost because that ball lit up. To me, it could be anything, but equally, I'm coming on here and saying to you, oh, I see ghosts, I sense ghosts. How do I translate what I see to the viewer? Because if you can't see spirits, you won't be able to pick up that there's a spirit in my vicinity, or if there's not. So it's very difficult when I'm not necessarily picking up on a ghost's immediate presence. And let's not forget, these are spirits. They're no different to humans. They're not performing seals, you know, they're not here to move the table because you tell them to, you know. These are human beings who have passed over, or not passed over as the case may be, but they're not performing dogs. It's not a theatrical show, you know. We don't need to test them. We don't need to say, move the sofa, move the chair, throw something at me. And when I'm at locations and things aren't necessarily happening, then I don't want to be like this fake who's screaming and jumping around the room, because that's not going to happen. Realistically, everywhere you go, it's not necessarily going to happen at that time. Like, sometimes I will see a spirit when I'm in the supermarket, and what am I going to do? Go ghost hunting at Sainsbury's? I mean, it could be a fun idea, but it's not your typical, you know. The cool thing about buildings like this is they have a lot of history, and there are stories to tell outside of the ghost. So I'm going to park this here because it could be my energy that's off, but I'm not connecting enough with what's in this room or what's in this area to get a positive spirit rod reading. I don't think that at the moment I'm not sensing enough. I'm not sensing much. So I will come back to this in a little while. Good morning. It is the next morning. My footage took an unexpected turn during the night, and I haven't necessarily been able to provide you guys with the ghost hunt you may have been looking for. Firstly, as I said yesterday, I had a very, very minimal sense of spiritual activity in here, and it was in this very room. Right in the corner, when I walked in, I saw a shadow figure. And this was very small and very quick, and potentially it could have been the shadow figure of a small child. It is believed that 2 children did die up here. Well, there's conflicting reports. Some people say there was multiple children that died up here, but the most conclusive and the most repetitive story states that 2 children died up in the attic of cholera. And I'm not trying to say that what I saw was a small child or the ghost of one of these small children, but something very strange happened in the middle of the night, which is why I haven't been able to capture the amount of footage that I wanted to on this trip. I've been really, really ill. I woke up at 4 a.m. and literally was vomiting and felt absolutely horrendous. I do not know where this weird mystery illness came from, but as you can see, I'm pretty much back to normal now. But this went on for a good few hours, from like 4 a.m. till 6 o'clock, literally being really, really ill and spending most of my evening in the bathroom. Subsequently, I didn't feel that that was the most, I mean, it could have been very dramatic and very gripping, and you would have seen me in a whole new light. But I think that was where I drew the line in terms of filming myself. So all of that glorious footage of me being ill doesn't exist, which is why I've started with a new day, a new dawn, feeling slightly better. But I don't know if I can put that down to the weird spirit energy in this room, because where I saw the apparition is very, very close to where I laid my head. Maybe I ate something really disgusting for dinner. Maybe something didn't agree with me. Maybe it was just a normal sickness bug that disappeared. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to decide. I don't have the conclusive answer. Sometimes for me, paranormal activity is so strong and so undeniable. Like when you're seeing a full apparition of a soldier or a person, or you're feeling people pull on your body and things like that and drag you out of bed and scratch you, that's very hard to deny. What I experienced here is somewhat more subtle and could probably be put down to a number of different things. So is the Guy Fawkes Inn haunted? I will leave that for you to decide. For me, if it is, the hauntings are more subtle than in some places, but maybe they just didn't want to communicate with me. You've got to remember that spirits sometimes have a message. They sometimes want to get a message across. Other spirits are quite peaceful, just existing. So perhaps I was the wrong person, the wrong time, and the wrong ghosts. But something definitely made me feel very, very ill in the middle of the night, and you could blame my dinner, I guess. Blame the ghost, blame the dinner. The choice is yours. I've nipped downstairs because this video wouldn't be complete without showing you some of the public areas of the Guy Fawkes Inn. Now, this is the cutest, most quintessentially British pub I have been to in a very long time. As you can see, it is quite cool to sit here. Lots of church-esque vibe furniture and so many references to Guy Fawkes, as you can imagine. But it's actually quite a cool place to come to have a drink, regardless of whether you're ghost hunting. Kind of cool. So you may notice that behind me there is a phrase that says, "Come sit where I sat, try on my cloak and put on my hat." So if you want to, you can really get into the spirit of the Guy Fawkes era. There is a cloak hanging on the wall behind me, and I have no idea where the hat has gone. Perhaps someone has stolen the elusive Guy Fawkes hat, but you can really get into the spirit of things here. This is undoubtedly the best seat in the house. Table number 22. You can see outside and the whole of this sumptuous room. And also right above my head, right next to the fireplace, is a homage to all the men involved in the elusive gunpowder plot. Of course, we're at the Guy Fawkes Inn. Don't forget it. And on that note, I will love you and leave you. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, show me some love. Drop me a comment. Share your experiences of haunted York. I love to hear a ghost story. So drop them in the comment section. Subscribe, like, show me some love, and come with me on this magical journey into the unknown.